Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Locken Sugihara. I'm a part of the 2014 Contractors Association Steering Committee for this home show. And I do work for Hawaii Gas here on Kauai. This afternoon, privileged to have Daria Loy-Goto, who's a complaints and enforcement officer for the Regulated Industries Complaints Office within the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. Darla will be doing a presentation on the hiring of licensed contractors and new home builder laws for those of you doing new construction or remodeling. After her presentation, Darla will be back in the Regulated Industries Complaints Office booth to take any questions you may have. Darla, thank you for coming to Kauai and for doing this presentation.
Okay, thank you, Lawton. Thank you, Lawton. First of all, let me tell you, I love any invitation to come to Kauai. Just driving in from the airport, you folks are so fortunate. This is a beautiful, beautiful place to live. And Oahu is not far behind. So thank you so much to the Kauai Contractors Association for asking us to come out. We jump at any opportunity we have to provide information to people. As you may know, the Regulated Industries Complaints Office has oversight over about 48 different licensed professions and vocations. So everything from massage therapists to contractors, real estate agents, to doctors. We're jacks of all trade and masters of none. But in all those licensed professions, we welcome the opportunity to provide information to people who are thinking about hiring a licensee. If you're considering hiring a licensed contractor for your job, there are lots of good reasons why. If you visit our booth, we have a specific brochure on hiring a licensed contractor. One of the first reasons is they have the experience necessary in order to obtain a license. Another very critically important piece for homeowners to know is that under Hawaii law, licensed contractors are required to have liability insurance and workers' compensation coverage for any employees they bring onto your project. To me, having come from a long, long time ago from an insurance defense background, that insurance piece is very important. We see cases every year where somebody hires an unlicensed contractor. The unlicensed contractor is injured on that homeowner's property and a lawsuit ensues. If you're bringing on a unlicensed contractor onto your property, you may be held liable for any injuries that they incur on your property. So insurance is critically important to homeowners, and that's an important piece that we like to raise with all homeowners. The other thing attached to that is there's also what's called the Contractors Recovery Fund. If you hire a licensed contractor, you run into problems, you get a judgment, Contractors Recovery Fund is there, and each year licensed contractors pay into that fund so they can help cover any judgments that a licensed contractor may not be able to cover. So I encourage you to pick up the brochure on hiring a licensed contractor from our booth. Lots of good information in there. The brochure will also tell you how to check to make sure somebody is licensed. That information is available on our website, and also we have a phone bank of people available 7:45 to 4:30 every day to confirm license information with you. The other thing that our office provides is information about complaints. If our office has received a complaint against a licensee, and it could be any kind of licensee, motor vehicle repair, motor vehicle sales, realtors, that information is also available from our office. Again, by phone or online, information on how to reach our office is available in the brochure. But what I wanted to cover with you today is actually what we call our top 10 tips for consumers. And as we go through that, we'll talk a little bit about owner builder and the new laws that have come out. Number one on the list, hire a licensed contractor. Again, insurance, very big piece in hiring a licensed contractor. You want to make sure that any workers that a licensed contractor brings onto your property are covered. The other thing you need to know about hiring a licensed contractor, you need to make sure you hire the right kind of contractor. Okay. In the state of Hawaii, you can do your own work without a licensee for a job where labor and materials is $1,000 or less. If a building permit is required, you absolutely need to hire a licensed contractor. It's important to realize that there are different kinds of licensed contractors as well. There are B general contractors who, if you're putting up framing and flooring, they'll be able to handle the job from soup to nuts. And they will bring in any licensed subcontractors that they need to bring in to finish the project. If your project only includes drywall, you can hire a drywall subcontractor, and that's a contractor that's licensed to do drywall work only. It's important when you're choosing a contractor to make sure they're licensed for the job that you need them to do. Many times we get complaints from consumers who have hired a contractor, for example, to come and build a rock wall. And then the contractor, who may be licensed to build rock walls, will say, I can also renovate your kitchen. If you hire a subcontractor and they're not licensed to do work in other areas, we see a lot of complaints in those areas simply because a subcontractor might be biting off more than he or she can chew. So important to know what kind of contractor you need for your job. Important to check and make sure that they're licensed with our office. Okay, number 2, know how much you can spend. We recommend fixing your budget in advance and holding some on the back end to take care of any emergencies that may arise. So for example, after the work on your house is done, what you didn't realize is that bulldozers were going to run over your lawn, and now you have to replace the lawn. So we do recommend always holding some things back for emergencies. A common situation we have is during a remodel project, they open the walls. And after they open the walls, they find all kinds of good things. So you want to make sure that you have a little bit in reserve to take care of things that may pop up as your project is ongoing. All right, next thing, shop around. We recommend getting 3 bids or estimates. If you're getting bids or estimates, make sure they're from licensed contractors, and you want to make sure they're based on the same materials and the same work that's going to be done. Single wall construction will cost less than double wall construction. Corian countertops are going to cost more than laminate countertops. When you get a bid, you want to be very sure that the bid is exactly for the materials and the work that you want done. And you want to make sure that the bid is specific enough to know what exactly the job is going to cover. All right, number 4, ask for references. Call trade organizations, talk with friends or relatives. I actually drove by and stopped at a neighbor's house and asked who had worked in their yard because it was so well done. So word of mouth is always good, but again, you want to check references. You want to find somebody that's established in your community. Number 5, insist on a written contract. We can't emphasize this enough. In the state of Hawaii, a licensed contractor is required to give you a contract, a bid and estimate in writing. And you want to make sure that as you're going through the process, you're holding on to any sheet of paper that you have. So for example, if in the middle of the course of your project you decide you no longer want the laminate countertops, you want the Corian countertops, you should get a change order in writing. And those change orders are going to help document what happened in the project, why your costs are going up, and it keeps everybody on track. So we do recommend, as your project is ongoing, hold on to every little slip of paper that you get. Some people keep a diary. Some people take a photo journal as the project is ongoing. All those things are good ideas for homeowners who can kind of document as the project is going on. All right, number 6, make sure your project is in compliance with city and county codes. You can talk to the nice people over at the Kauai County booth, and they can tell you whether or not a permit might be required for the work that you're going to do. In the state of Hawaii, you can apply for what's called an owner-builder permit. As an owner-builder, and we have a new brochure for you to take home if you visit our booth called The Risk and Responsibilities of Becoming an Owner-Builder. An owner-builder is somebody who effectively becomes a general contractor for their own project. Many times we'll get complaints from consumers who have hired unlicensed contractors who have advised the homeowner to get an owner-builder permit. And the reason why they're doing it is because the unlicensed contractor cannot get a permit on their own. So if you decide to be the owner builder of the project, remember, you're stepping into the shoes of a general contractor. That means as a general contractor, you're responsible for complying with all of the laws that relate to a construction project. So, for example, you've got to supervise the construction yourself. You got to make sure any subcontractors that you bring onto the project are licensed. If you're bringing people onto work that are unlicensed and you're bringing them in as employees, you are responsible for those employees. So that means workers' compensation insurance, if anybody gets injured on the job, and also liability. I can tell you that if you're an owner builder and you have a homeowner's policy, your typical homeowner's policy will not cover any problems that come out of that construction. Right, you're also responsible for complying with employment and tax laws. Okay, so owner builder permits don't work for commercial projects. They can only be for residential projects. If you're considering becoming an owner builder, just be aware of the risks. So we do encourage you to pick up the information that we're providing for everyone today. Right, number 7, monitor the job and keep good records. Again, keep a journal, keep a diary, keep a record of the costs and the checks that you're writing and to whom. Number 8, cannot emphasize this enough, pay as you go. We get so many complaints each year where a consumer will say, I paid the guy $20,000 and he never came back the next day. So never, never, never pay all of the money up front. You're going to want to fix a schedule, and you're going to want to hold to that schedule as work is getting completed. Okay, number 9, you want to know who your subcontractors are, and you want to avoid liens. So as you are bringing subcontractors onto the project, you want to make sure that they're getting paid by the general contractor. And if they don't get paid, those subcontractors may come back and file a lien against you as the homeowner. And I'm sure that's no fun. So in keeping with that idea of covering liens and making sure everything gets paid for, you want to make sure that a notice of completion gets put into the newspaper. And that notice is essentially notice to subcontractors who may have worked on the project that the job is done and their opportunity to get paid is passing by. Okay, and number 10, lastly, you want to do a thorough walkthrough, and you want to take care of any punch lists immediately. A year after your construction is done, and the punch list items are those ticky-tack little last-minute items that are still undone. So, for example, the wall plates may not be in on the for all the electrical. Paint may need to be fixed in certain areas. A year after your construction is done is probably too late to file a complaint with our office and tell us that your punch list hasn't been completed. And I can tell you, it seems like it's very, very difficult after a job is done to get somebody to come back and take care of those little last minute things. So you want to make sure that you jump on it and don't wait to get that stuff done. We take a lot of complaints every year. And about half of what our office does, in addition to oversight over licensees, is the prosecution of unlicensed activity. Unlicensed contracting activity is the highest among the unlicensed work that we do. So, and we see it all. We see projects where an unlicensed contractor may have some skills and may have worked for a licensed contractor in the past and may feel like they want to branch out. And we see the other side of the spectrum, which are individuals who are just taking the money and running. So we really, really do want to emphasize to consumers that it's important to know what you're getting into. And we make that information available from our office. You can check licensing with our office, and you can call for prior complaint history as well. The other thing that I wanted to explain to you today is that in terms of hiring a licensed electrician and a licensed plumber, electricians and plumbers are licensed under a separate licensing chapter. So you need to make sure that a licensed electrician that you're bringing in is qualified to do the work, and that a licensed plumber you're bringing onto the project is also qualified to do the work. As I said, our office receives a lot of complaints in a lot of different areas. And we really want to make sure that consumers, before they enter into a project, are really doing their absolute best to get all the information. And if you're coming to the home shows, if you're getting information from us, if you're doing research on who you're hiring and who you're bringing into the project, that's terrific, and you're probably steps ahead of a lot on your way to a successful remodeling project. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call our office. We make brochures and information available on our website and encourage you to check licensing on anybody you're thinking about bringing into your project. Okay, I would like to thank the Kauai Contractors Association for inviting us out here today. I'm happy to take any questions that you folks may have. If you don't have any questions, that's fine too.
I'd like to know exactly what is it that a contractor or like a general contractor or a plumber or anything like that, what exactly is it that they have to do in order to become licensed?
Okay, the question was what exactly, what does a contractor, somebody who's applying for a contractor's license, have to do in order to become licensed? There is information on the Contractors Licensing Board, the State of Hawaii Licensing Board's website. Typically, there is an experience requirement. Again, once they are licensed, they're going to have that liability policy, and they're also going to have to be able to cover employees with workers' compensation. But it is going to depend, the experience requirement will depend on the kind of license that they're applying for. As part of that licensing process, they also have to have a clean tax record, and they do check other things like criminal history. Yes?
You were making a distinction between electrical contractors and plumbing contractors compared to others. Does that make a difference if I'm a homeowner and I want to do permit work that requires a permit? Let's say it's framing. I hire a framing contractor. I have to become an owner builder, but if I hire an electrician or plumber to do an equivalent amount of work and no other trade, I don't have to become a general contractor, a self-builder. I'm a little unclear on that.
Okay, if you're going to become an owner builder, and you're going to become the general contractor, it's incumbent on you to make sure that any subcontractors you bring into a project are licensed. So, for example, as an owner builder, you may bring in a licensed electrical contractor to pull the permits, and a licensed electrical contractor is required to pull the permits and to do the work. Now, that licensed electrical contractor, they're gonna make sure that their workers who are coming in to do the actual work are licensed under Chapter 448, which is the electricians and plumbers chapter. So in other words, the licensed electrical contractor is going to be able to pull the permits and make sure that the tradesmen that are coming in are also specifically licensed to do the job.
But do I have to become an owner builder to hire an electrical contractor who?
No,
just to repair? I don't have to.
You don't have to become an you don't have to become an owner builder in order to hire in a licensed electrical contractor who can do just electrical work.
I guess that's what I'm trying. At what point do I have to become an owner builder?
You know, it's going to depend on the project and the work that you want to have done. Again, labor and materials, $1,000 less. You don't need to hire a licensed contractor unless a permit is required. General contractors typically engage in 2 or more trades. So, for example, if you're building an extension to your home, you're going to need framing, you're going to need flooring, you're going to need roofing. That's going to require a general contractor's license. If you're just painting your house, you can hire a painting subcontractor to do that. But if your work is going to involve 2 or more trades, you need to either hire a licensed general contractor or get an owner builder permit for the project. And permitting is handled through the county. So if you want to know what a permit is required to do and whether or not your project needs a permit, you should check with the county. And then you can check with the Contractors Licensing Board or the RICO office on what kind of a licensee you need to have to do that work. Yes?
Question on the punch list and making sure you don't get stuck at the end. Do you suggest holding back a certain amount of money? Because you don't want to notice of completion until the punch list is complete. So
You know, typically that final payment is contingent on everything being
and
done.
that includes the punch list. If you write that into the contract, is that what
Yeah.
you do? Okay.
Yes?
If you start a program, let's say you start a project, being an owner builder, and then whatever, some quarter percent or some start off, you go, oh, this is too much, and you give it to a GC. Is it too difficult to switch over and have the GC finish it off? Or?
You know, I can tell you just anecdotally in my household, I am known for taking on projects that at some point I cannot finish. So yes, follow up with the county if you've taken out an owner builder permit and you're at a point where you want to bring in a licensed contractor, then I think you talk to the county and see if you can convert that permit.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry we're cutting short, but we have another set coming in, people, and if you have any other questions, you can see her at the at her booth there. Yeah, you guys can be here till the end, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Like everybody else. Okay. So thank you very much.
9:30 flight.
9:30 flight. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so she'll be up there inside of the exhibition hall, and then after this workshop, we'll have the people from HPM Building Supply, and they'll be talking about bath remodeling. So if you want to stay, fine, you can just stay here. Okay.